Class 8, let's continue the chapter number 7b, Geography, and the chapter name is India, Climate, Natural Vegetation and Wildlife. In the previous video, we have done till the characteristics of tropical evergreen forest. Till that topic we have completed. Now in today's class, I'm going to tell you about the characteristics of other natural vegetation which are found in India, such as tidal forest, mountain vegetation, and your tropical deciduous forest. Also, I'll tell you about the need for the conservation of natural vegetation, right? Natural vegetation and natural wildlife, natural resources, right? So let's start today's class. Tropical deciduous forests, these forests are found in the typical type of monsoon region. That is why these type of vegetation is also known as, these type of vegetations are also known as deciduous forest or tropical deciduous forest, right? Now the climatic conditions for the growth of the trees are, these trees are found in the areas of 100 to 200 centimeter of rainfall, not more than 200 and not less than 100, right? So these trees, the trees which are found in the tropical deciduous forest, the rainfall are found in the areas of rainfall having 100 to 200 centimeter rainfall annually, right? Now, due to a longer dry season, now this is point to be noted, that the trees in these forests are deciduous, that is they shade their leaves during the dry season, right? During the dry season they shade their leaves for the and the time period is 8 weeks, right? So however, as each of the species has a different time of shedding leaves, that is why the entire forest is not bare at the same time, right? Now the most commonly common trees found in these deciduous forests are teak and sal. And the other characteristics of deciduous forest are that these trees are economically very, very important, right? So they are easily exploited because they are not dense. That is why the trees or the forest are easily exploited. They are less dense and economically very, very important, right? Okay, other than teak and sal, there are sandalwood, rosewood, shisham, bamboos are also commonly found commonly found trees in these forests. Now the areas found this type of vegetation of found in Western Ghats in South India to the Shivalik Hills in the north. So in the north, these type of trees are found in that Shivalik range, and towards the south, these are found in Western Ghats. Now the thorn forest. So thorn means the forest or the vegetation which can withstand the dry and drought periods, right? So the areas having a rainfall of less than 70 centimeter per annum due to lack of moisture. So lack of moisture means due to lack of water, rainfall. The trees growing here have a very small leaves and they support thorns. So leaves are in the form of thorns, which helps in, thorns means spines, which help in transpiration, right? The common species found here include bubble, kikar and wild palm. These are the trees found there in the thorn forest. In the areas of more scanty rainfall, the vegetation consists of scrubs, shrubs and thorny bushes only. right? So the areas where there is less rainfall, in that areas only the bushes or your shrubs, thorny bushes and scrubs are found. Rajasthan, Gujarat, parts of Punjab, Haryana, dry parts of Madhya Pradesh and the Deccan Plateau in the rain shadow area have this type of vegetation. So when we talk about the climatic condition, so the climatic condition for the growth of the trees or the vegetation of thorn forest is that they can withstand the drought period, drought season, and the rainfall required for the vegetation is less than 70 centimeter per annum. That means yearly the uh, less than 70 centimeters supports this type of vegetation, right? Now when we talk about the characteristics, the leaves are found in the form of spines or thorns. That is why this type of vegetation is also known as thorn vegetation. And another specific characteristic is that because of lack of moistures and they do not get atmospheric rainfall, that is why the roots of these vegetation they grow deep enough to to absorb the water from underground, right? So the roots are deep enough. Clear? Now next is tidal vegetation, very important. This tidal vegetation is also known as littoral vegetation. So another typical type of vegetation found in the deltic region of Sundarban is the tidal forest. These trees can grow in the areas of high salinity. So salinity means saline water, the water which contains salt, right? So mangroves and sundari trees growing in this deltic region of western Bengal belong to the category of tidal forest. So these type of vegetation, they are found near the deltas of Sundarban, the deltas which are formed by the two rivers Ganga and Brahmaputra, right? And two specific features or trees found in that tidal forest or littoral forest are sundari and mangroves, right? Now the other characteristics of tidal forest are they can grow in both fresh as well as saline water. So saline means brackish. One important term is there. If you see this picture in page number 97, this brackish is written here. So brackish means it's a saline water, right? So the specific feature of the this tidal vegetation is that they can withstand or they can grow both in fresh as well as in brackish water. And the most important tree is the sundari tree, after which Sundar names are named, right? Because of the sundari tree, the tree which is found there, sundari tree. So because of that, after which the Sundarban are named. Now next is vegetation of Himalayas. The southern slope of Himalayas carry a thicker vegetation cover because of relatively higher precipitation than the drier northern facing slopes. So towards the southern slopes of Himalaya. So that means southern slopes means towards Shivalik and Himachal. These type of vegetations are found, and the growth is also thick, right? Because of relatively higher rainfall. Precipitation means rainfall than the drier north facing slopes. Himalayan vegetation varies according to both altitude and climatic conditions. As such, there is succession of natural vegetation belts in same order as we see from tropical to tundra region. So as we go up, that means increase in altitude in the Himalayan because we know that Himalayan region Himalayan region is divided into three layers or three category. First is the lower one is Shivalik belt, then the middle one is your Himachal, and the upper one is Himadri. So as we go up in the higher altitude, the vegetation, the thickness of the vegetation decreases, right? Okay. The important trees are deodar, blue pine, silver fir, juniper, birch, oak, sal. These are the important trees of Himalayas. At higher altitude, mosses and lichens form part of tundra vegetations, right? So as we go to the higher altitude in the Himadri region or in the peak of Himalaya, there is no vegetation found because of extremely cold weather, presence of extremely cold weather, and the precipitation, the rainfall is in the form of snow, right? That is why only the mosses and lichens are found. Now next is need for the conservation of natural vegetation. Why these natural vegetation plants and the plant species are important. Okay, now a need for the conservation of this natural vegetation, because natural vegetation means forest and forest cover, plants and trees and their species, right? So to have a balance in ecology, or for ecological balance, this vegetation cover is very, very important, right? Secondly, it maintains a balance between carbon dioxide and oxygen. So it balances the cycle of that carbon dioxide and oxygen, because we know that trees takes in carbon dioxide and emits out oxygen. So that oxygen is very essential for human beings and all living creatures, right? That is why to have a balance in that oxygen and between the oxygen and carbon dioxide, this natural vegetation, trees are very, very important. That trees play a very important role. Next, we have forest trees help in bringing sufficient rainfall on earth. So earlier I told you about the word that is transpiration. So transpiration means it's a loss of water from the leaves of plants or trees, right? So and you must have heard about that the trees also trees give out that moisture, and that moisture, when it comes in the contact with in the sunlight, it evaporates, right? So evaporation means after that sometimes the evaporation that evaporate that so in evaporation, when the vapors cool down, then it comes in the form of it condenses there in the atmosphere. When it gets it evaporates up, rise in the up in the sky, it gets condensed, and after that it falls down in the form of rainfall. So forest, or the forest means trees, help in bringing rainfall, sufficient rainfall, right? Next is the forest also help in the conservation of soil, because we know that the roots of trees, it binds the soil. Roots of tree binds the soil and helps in arresting the soil, and helps or prevent in soil erosion, prevents from being soil erosion. Yeah, being helps in soil being eroded, right? It's written here, this is because in the presence of plants and trees, the top soil is held firmly. That means it is fixed, it is bound by the roots of plants and trees, and is not allowed to be washed away. So washed away means soil erosion. Forests provide habitat for wildlife and wildlife and plants and trees, right? And help in their preservation also. Now, keeping in mind the importance of natural vegetation, the government of India has revised its forest policy. Main plank of the forest policy is protections, conservations, and development of forest. So, the policy which has been launched, so the policies have been adopted by the government for the protections, conservation, and development of forest, as well as promote the or encourage the forest research also. You must have heard about or heard the name of FRI, Forest Research Institute, which is situated at Dehradun, and you must have visited there also, right? So, the Forest Research Institute, which is in Dehradun, which is at Dehradun, and the Coimbatore also, are the main centers for the research of forest products, forest and forest products, right? So these are the centers, and the many policies have been adopted by the government for the protections, conservation, and development of forest and forest products and species, trees and trees species, right? Okay. Okay, children, that's all for today, and hopefully we'll complete this chapter in the next video. And in next video, we'll be doing wildlife and need for the conservation of wildlife, right? Okay. Till then, goodbye.